Have you ever noticed this strange thing about life? Some people seem to know everything. They know what habits lead to success, they know how discipline works, they know what they should stop doing and what they should start doing. They watch motivational videos, read quotes, save posts, and nod their heads saying, yes, this is true. But years pass and nothing in their life changes. This story is about one such man. His name was Ethan. Ethan was not stupid. In fact, people around him often said Ethan is smart. He understands things deeply. He lived in a quiet town where days passed slowly and dreams were easy to postpone. Every morning, Ethan woke up with plans in his head. Today, I'll start exercising. Today, I'll work on my skills. Today, I'll finally change my life. But somehow, by night, those plans dissolved into excuses. Ethan spent a lot of time learning. He watched videos about success, discipline, money, self-growth. His phone was filled with bookmarks and saved clips. He could explain why people fail. He could talk about habits, mindset, consistency, and patience like a teacher. If someone asked him for advice, he gave powerful answers. People listened. Some even felt inspired. But when Ethan was alone, his own life stayed exactly the same. His room was messy, his body felt tired, his bank account stayed empty, and deep inside, a quiet shame followed him everywhere. He knew too much, but he did too little. At night, when the world went silent, Ethan lay on his bed staring at the ceiling. His mind replayed all the things he knew he should have done. He knew waking up early mattered. He knew working daily mattered. He knew comfort was the enemy of growth. And yet, every morning, he chose comfort again. He told himself, I already understand these things. I'll start soon. That word, soon, became his favorite lie. Days turned into weeks, weeks into years, and the scariest part was this. On the outside, Ethan looked calm, but inside, he felt stuck, watching his own life slowly slip away. One afternoon, Ethan went to a small cafe near the edge of town. It was quiet, almost empty. He sat near the window, scrolling through his phone, watching another video about changing your life. The speaker said, knowledge without action is useless. Ethan paused the video and smiled bitterly. He whispered to himself, I know that already. That's when he noticed an old man sitting alone at the next table. The man was reading a worn notebook, not a phone. His clothes were simple, his posture relaxed, his eyes focused. Something about him felt different, calm, grounded, real. The old man looked up and noticed Ethan watching him. He smiled gently and said, You seem thoughtful, young man. What's on your mind? Ethan hesitated, then laughed softly. Nothing, just thinking about how people know so much these days but still don't change. The old man closed his notebook and leaned back. That's an interesting thought, he said. Tell me, do you believe knowing is the same as doing? Ethan answered quickly, Of course not. Everyone knows action matters. The old man nodded. Then why do so many intelligent people stay stuck? Ethan opened his mouth to answer, but no words came out. For the first time, someone wasn't impressed by what he knew. Someone was quietly questioning who he had become. The old man looked at him carefully and said, If you have time, walk with me. I want to show you something. Ethan didn't know why, but he agreed. And without realizing it, that small decision marked the beginning of something he had avoided his entire life. Ethan followed the old man out of the cafe without asking questions. They walked slowly along a narrow road that led away from the town, where the noise faded and only the sound of wind and distant birds remained. After a few minutes, the old man stopped near an open field. In the middle of the field stood two wooden carts. One was old but sturdy, its wheels worn from use. The other looked new and polished, almost untouched. The old man pointed toward them and said, Look carefully. Tell me what you see. Ethan studied them and replied, One has been used a lot, the other looks new. The old man smiled. Exactly. Now, tell me, which one do you think has gone farther in life? Ethan frowned. Obviously the used one, it's been moving. The old man nodded. Yes, and the untouched one? It has perfect wheels, perfect wood, perfect potential, but it has never moved an inch. He turned to Ethan and looked him straight in the eyes. Most people today are like that second cart. Perfect knowledge, perfect plans, perfect understanding, zero movement. Ethan felt something tightened in his chest. The words landed too close to home. The old man continued, "You know why knowledge feels good? Because it gives you the illusion of progress. Your brain feels rewarded just by understanding, but progress does not come from understanding. It comes from friction, from effort, from action." They continued walking. The old man spoke calmly, but every sentence felt heavy. "Tell me, Ethan," he said, "how many videos have you watched about discipline?" Ethan answered quietly, "Hundreds." "And how many disciplined days have you actually lived?" Ethan stayed silent. The old man nodded as if he expected that answer. This is the trap. Your mind is full, but your life is empty. And the more you know, the more dangerous the trap becomes, because now you can explain your failure very intelligently. Ethan swallowed hard. He realized how often he justified his inaction with smart excuses. He didn't lack knowledge. He lacked courage to be uncomfortable. They stopped near a small bridge. The old man placed his hand on the railing and said, "There is a moment in every life where learning becomes a form of procrastination." Ethan looked at the flowing water below. "So what am I supposed to do? Stop learning?" The old man shook his head. "No, but you must change the order. Action first, learning second. Even imperfect action teaches more than perfect knowledge." He leaned closer and lowered his voice. "Most people are waiting to feel ready, but readiness never comes before action. It comes after." Ethan felt exposed, like someone had finally named the thing he had been running from for years. "But what if I fail?" he asked. The old man smiled gently. "You are already failing, just very comfortably." The words stung, but they were true. The old man continued, "Failure from action builds you. Failure from inaction erodes you slowly. One hurts now, the other kills your future quietly." Ethan's heart pounded. For the first time, he wasn't inspired, he was uncomfortable, and deep down, he knew this discomfort was necessary. As they reached the end of the bridge, the old man stopped walking. He turned to Ethan and said, "Tomorrow morning, I want you to choose one small action. Not a plan, not research, not preparation, just one uncomfortable action. If you do it, come find me here again." Ethan looked at him. "And if I don't?" The old man smiled sadly. "Then you will continue being a man who knows everything except how to change his life." Without another word, the old man walked away, leaving Ethan standing alone, staring at the road ahead, realizing that knowledge was no longer his problem. Choice was.
That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. The old man's words replayed in his head again and again. "You already are failing, just very comfortably." He stared at the ceiling, realizing how safe his life had been. Safe excuses, safe plans, safe delays. And for the first time, safety felt terrifying. When morning came, Ethan stood beside his bed, heart racing. He didn't feel motivated. He didn't feel confident. But he remembered the instruction, one small, uncomfortable action. No planning, no research, just action. So he grabbed his notebook, opened a blank page, and started writing the idea he had been thinking about for years, but never started. His hands shook. His mind screamed that it wasn't ready, but he kept writing anyway. After 30 minutes, something strange happened. The fear didn't disappear, but it weakened. Ethan realized the fear wasn't stopping him anymore. He was moving with it. That day, he took another small step, then another. No announcements, no social media posts, no telling people his plans, just quiet effort. The days that followed were uncomfortable. Some days he failed. Some days he doubted himself. Every day he acted, and something changed inside him. The voice that once said, "Wait," slowly lost its power. Action had become louder than thought. A week later, Ethan returned to the bridge. The old man was already there, watching the river. He didn't ask questions. He only looked at Ethan's face and smiled. "You moved," he said. Ethan nodded. "I was scared," he replied. The old man chuckled softly. "Good. Fear means you left your comfort zone." He placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder and said, "Remember this. Knowledge tells you what could change your life. Action decides whether it will." Ethan finally understood. The secret was never discipline, never motivation. It was identity. He was no longer a man preparing to live. He was a man living. Years later, Ethan would think back to that bridge. He didn't become successful overnight, but he became dangerous to his old life. Because once you taste progress through action, comfort can no longer control you. And that is the real transformation. So, if you're listening to this story and feel uncomfortable right now, that's a good sign. It means you recognize yourself in Ethan, and maybe, just maybe, this is your moment to stop learning and start moving. If this story made you think, if it shook something inside you, then don't let it end here. Hit the like button, not for the algorithm, but as a promise to yourself that you won't ignore this feeling. And subscribe to this channel, because every story here is designed to wake you up, not entertain you. Share this with someone who keeps preparing but never starts. And remember, your life won't change when you know more. It will change the moment you act.